Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering a new series, which is a spinoff from another series that I have already watched and reviewed. It branches off from the complicated web series that is written by Mr. Kirit Greer and executive produced by Mr. Johnny Sizemore from Showtime Productions. But we are traveling to Atlanta this time, and I'm having so much fun because we're dealing with a lot of creatives while being in Atlanta, and a lot of wild stuff goes on in the ATL. But I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you love my content, and if you don't, still subscribe. You can share this video and also leave your comments below. Now, you can watch Complicated Atlanta on Amazon Prime. All you have to do is purchase the series. It is affordable for everyone. Let's support our Black content creators. How about that? All right. So, with this group, it's quite different as far as what's going on from Complicated, the original series. I think the original series is based out of South Carolina or North Carolina. And it had to deal with more with relationships and also with friendships, with a friend group relationship. Although we're not steering away from relationships within this group, it's a little bit different because a lot of people are artistic and they are pursuing their dreams. So I would say that this is a more young, fun group. Complicated, the original series are people who are either in, it seems like maybe their early 30s, late 30s, or mid 30s. They've already gone through college and now is ready to make some important decisions about their life as far as starting families. They already have their careers and all that. With this group, you can tell that they have to be in their 20s. I think, I won't say early 20s, but towards their mid 20s. If I could give an age range, they're pursuing their dreams right now. It's not time for marriage. It's not time for children, things of that nature. So I enjoy it because it's the creatives. And it's not just people who are pursuing acting careers. We got writers on here. Shout out to one character. His name is Sanchez Mills. He's a writer on here. Deja, she's an actress or aspiring actress that is ready for her big break. We have O'Brien on here. He is a barber. That's creative too. So it's not just a trade. It's a creative type of career. I mean, you're creating things with people's head and making people beautiful or handsome, whatever you want to call it, as far as with men. We have people who are musically trained. We got Quintrell, who's on here also. Those are the main leads on this cast, and there's a lot more people that we are going to be introduced to. So the first episode is called A Balancing Act. We begin this episode with Sanchez. Chez is not able to rest. Why can't he rest? It's because his roommate, Deja, is getting her back blown. And let's just say Sanchez knows Deja's boyfriend's name. So as they get louder, yelling and doing everything that they need to do, Sanchez gets this text. We find out later it's from Quintrell, but I'm paying attention to the dialogue within the text. One thing you got to know about Mr. Kirit Greer and Mr. Johnny Sizemore, you got to pay attention to every detail because somehow it's going to pop up later within the series. There was things that I was thinking or put in the back of my head. And then I was like, well, I don't really see anything playing out. And then on the season finale, it was like, boom, what I thought was happening did happen. And I wish I would have paid attention or didn't try to denounce it after thinking about it. So pay attention to every detail that they write. So this guy, who we find out is Quintrell, is texting just saying, what are you doing up? You know, I'm up because Deja, she getting her back blown. I'm paraphrasing. Quintrell wants to meet up on tomorrow. And Sanchez says, well, I have a, not an audition. He's applied to a job and now he has an interview. And Quintrell said, well, that's not going to be all day. Come on now. You know. So then Sanchez does agree. I'll talk about that a little bit more because there's a certain feeling that I have about Sanchez and Quintrell, and I'm going to talk like I haven't seen the other episodes, which I have. But we're just gonna stay with the episode. How about that? So since Chez can't get any sleep, he gets up to write, and he has this wall of inspirational writers. He has Ava DuVernay, some other people, but there are two other people that are up here that I'm really glad that they put up there. Did y'all notice them? If you haven't watched the show, if you have watched the show, go on and watch it. But I see two interesting gentlemen up there. One is Mr. Johnny Sizemore, and one is Mr. Kerry Greer. And I said, you better put yourselves up there. I enjoy their writing, and I'm very inspired by them. And I'm glad that they are taking the world by storm. All right, so he gets up to write, all that good stuff. Now we go into the next morning, and Chez has fallen asleep at his desk. He wakes up, he goes to his door. What does he see? He's staring right into the bathroom door, which is open, where Deja's boyfriend, which his name is O'Brien, I think they call it OB for short, is there, and you can see him. He got a full booty-full view, if you know what I mean. Just basically, he just saw the rooter to the tutor, and definitely was turned on by that. And you can see that Sanchez is smitten by that. It's not just some type of, ooh, he just fine, and I just like that. We're going to see a little bit more of what this smitten Sanchez is with this Obi dude. So anyways, O'Brien says, I didn't know anyone was here. They just said that you were at work. Sanchez is fumbling over his words, and then finally Obi shuts the door. It's kind of like, at least Obi is comfortable with his sexuality that he's doing that, but you can read it a couple of ways, and guess what? Chez read it a different way. Read it one way. We can just think that, he's just comfortable with his sexuality. Because, a lot of straight people get very weird. Especially around the male men will get weird about, especially if you know that the other person is gay. Deja goes into the kitchen while she's not Deja. Deja's in the kitchen and she's reciting a line and also cooking. So Chez goes into the kitchen because there's a lot more noise going on, and basically he confronts him about his boyfriend and all of his glory and all this noise that's going on, and he makes fun of her from last night's sex session. She gets her little reads into, so obviously they have a comfortable relationship where they do read each other down and all that good stuff. But Deja did say that I thought that you were at your job, and Chez said, I was laid off as of last week. You knew that. And Deja was like, no, quit trying to fake it out. You got fired. And then he admits that the random drug testing kind of did him in as to why he does not have a job. Deja said, don't expect me to pay your half of the rent. And he says, I don't expect you to do that. Not at all. Deja, Chez brings up as far as why is Obi here more than you are. And Deja said, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. Can he stay here for a couple weeks as he's trying to save up for his own shop? As I stated before, Obi is a barber. Chez says no at first, but then he's like thinking about it, and it looks like he was driven by lust, and he ends up agreeing that Obi can stay there. See, for me, I would have been kind of upset because you have this man staying here in an apartment. I got to figure out a way to pay my own rent. What is that about? And it looks like Deja doesn't even have a job. So Obi is taking care of her, basically. So it's a little bit, I think I would have fought for him not to be there, just how I would feel. But it doesn't look like they got this mean-spirited type of relationship with each other, Deja and Chez. So I'm like, shoot, we barely trying to make it on our own together. Now you're going to bring somebody else up in here? Not. Anyways, we move on to Obi at his barbershop. He's there with this dude that basically wants you to make him look like Shamar Moore. And he's kind of struggling up there. Excuse me. He's kind of looking like a little bit George Jefferson. Even Obi made a joke about that a little bit earlier. Basically, they're joking a little bit, joning each other. In walks this other guy wanting to get a cut. Obi, I think the other guy ended up saying, I'll take you. But the guy said, well, no, you messed up my lining the last time. I want to take Obi. And Obi's like, cool, right now I am, my schedule's full, but I can take you after 6 o'clock. Well, then, of course, The hating person, whom we find out is the owner of the barbershop, says, no, we close at 6. He can't be here. And basically, Obi's like, I could take him. You just tripping. I can clean up. It's not a big deal. All that good stuff. But basically, the other dude said he's going to stand on business. So Obi ended up getting the dude's number and said that I will take you on tomorrow because of how whack and crazy the barber is, because he's hating. Which is kind of dumb, because doesn't he care about the reputation of his barbershop? A, you're the owner of this barbershop and you can't cut. And B, you're turning away service because he won't come to you. That's very weird. All right, so Deja, she has an audition with somewhere. She's auditioning for this movie role. She's there. She looks like she's ready to do the thing. We have the executive producer, Johnny Sizemore. Oh, who could that be? We have this lady named Jade, and also Devin Monroe. Where have I heard that name before? From Complicated, the original series. You know, she's Mo on there, but her real name is Devin Monroe. I said, shout out to her being in this universe. And also we have Montonio. I think that's what it was said on there, Mr. Carrot Gear. We have one seat that's not filled as of yet, but Deja is up next to give her role, or give her performance or audition. Obi ends up contacting her, texting her, just giving her a boost of encouragement. So the guy, his name is Charles, comes to sit down, and immediately Deja freezes. The guy reads the line and looks up at Deja, and obviously there's a connection there. Deja was paralyzed and she couldn't say nothing, and she ended up running off. Charles goes running after her, and we find out that there's some history there. He says that he's here for business. Whatever has happened has caused her to be kicked out of her school. She lost her scholarship. It looks like that they were in a teacher-student relationship. She wants nothing to do with them and to leave her alone. So obviously we got some drama already cooking up in the first episode. Ches does his interview, and basically it's a bunch of fluff. He's giving all the right answers, but then he was asked a question of, where do you see yourself within this company in the next 5 years? And he says, not doing this BS. He ends up closing his laptop, realizes that he's late because Quintrell is texting him as to see him where he's at. So he gets up and does what he needs to do to get ready to go. He goes to meet Quintrell, and they laugh a little bit about the interview that flopped. And then Quintrell, I feel like Quinn is so much like me and how I am within my friend group or friendships that I do have, because I'm kind of this preachy person. I think, I don't want to say I'm half empty, but half full, but try to be as realistic as possible. Bruh, you don't have no job, so you just gonna give up money like that? However, how Ches did explain things, look, of course you do need money to survive. If it's not fulfilling you, how are you really going to be good at what you do? And when you find your purpose, nothing else will be satisfying enough. What he ended up saying, Ches, you can't go back to doing the things that you used to do, no matter how hard you try. And Quinn ended up asking, what is your purpose? And Ches says, storytelling. And you can see him light up. and that's what he knows that he's supposed to do. He says he observes the world and he writes according to that. It's the only thing that he can think about. But as I am, Quinn is asking, so what are you going to do about money? Ches says, the universe will take care of me. I put it out into the atmosphere. And Q was like, the universe. And of course, we find out that Quinn is a church boy, or at least was raised in church. So the universe and church, they don't really flow with each other, But Ches says, I know you're a church boy or whatever, but look, I believe that something good will happen for me. And Q ends up saying, okay, Captain Planet. I said, now how you gonna make fun of a childhood hero of mine, Quinn? Come on. Ches all of a sudden gets into texting while he's supposed to be, excuse me, enjoying time with Quinn. He ends up texting O'Brien. He wants to get a cut, but obviously Quinn knows that there's something else going on Like, you don't even look like you need a haircut. What are you doing? So we find out that basically Ches has a crush on Obi. But he thinks, or how it's in his mind, he thinks that Obi finds him interesting as far as being interested in him. He's not saying that the dude is into guys, but he's into him. Of course, Quinn is trying to say, you better stop all this. Your lust, it will lead you to making poor decisions. And I want better for you. I say this often to some of my friends. They're not bad people, but it's like, let's think about this in another way. Excuse me. But Ches thinks that he's good and all this good stuff. And Quinn basically has to go while Ches gets back on his phone to start texting. Ches was like, come by later. I want to go over the script with you. And he says, yes, I'll come by. And then Ches was like, I love you. And then Quinn ends up saying it, very passionate and really wanting his attention. You can tell that there's some sadness there, like, and there's a deeper meaning to it. And he says, I love you too, Ches. But Ches never looked up from his phone or anything. And that's why when I said something about the text messages, it seems like Ches is not into Quinn the same way that Quinn is into Ches. Which is okay because it looks like Quinn sees Ches in a romantic way. Ches sees him as a friend, but not even a friend that's high on the roster. Because he's kind of forgettable unless Ches has something going on. We're going to get into that in later episodes. So after the whole thing, with Deja telling the guy Charles to leave her alone, she's sitting outside emotional. Jade comes and comforts her and puts her hand on her knee. I don't know if there's something going to be developed there, but guess what? I'm paying attention to it. I don't know if Jade's going to have more importance in Deja's life later on or not, but we see each other until I can't see you. Deja apologizes and just said that there was just stuff going on in her life. Jay gives her advice as far as her acting and invites her to an acting class that she does conduct on Tuesday. And Deja thought she could ask, could she have her another audition? And basically, nah, you blew that chance. All right, so Quintrell, he goes to church, and we find out that he plays the keyboard. And he starts singing, what a friend we have in Jesus. So he sings that, and then up comes this woman, and also we find out his dad, who is the pastor of the church that he is at. Quintrell is the minister of music. He's a graduate from Clark, Atlanta, and also this girl, a woman, young lady, Amira. Amira used to come to this church as a child, and her mother or grandmother was a old member or prolific or important member of the church back in the day. Well, she's done with college and she's thinking about joining the church, and she's going to be a part of the choir rehearsal that's about to start. So the dad ends up trying to push Amara off on Quintrell. He says that I have plans. Pops basically says, no, you don't. You have it with her. And he basically says, no, I have my plans, and that's just that. I can relate to Quinn right now as to how parents can be very intrusive in trying to set you up and to do stuff that you don't want to do, even in this dating scene. So Pops basically says that, let me talk with my son. He takes him to his office and he starts reading off scriptures. Romans chapter 1:32, and it's about a man lying with another man as a woman, and also Matthew 7:7 about sins being basically will equal into death. But then Quintrell says, I know part of the Bible too. And he ends up saying, John chapter 2 verse 9, do not judge lest you be judged. And then the pops was like, I didn't raise you like that. A demon got a hold of you, and I don't know what you're gonna do. Well, I don't. I'm gonna say it this way: anybody trying to get demons out of people in Atlanta, you bold. I'm gonna say it like that: you bold, and the only demon that you seem to see is homosexuality and lesbianism. I don't know why you don't see nothing else, pastor, minister, missionary, deacon, mother. Y'all don't see nothing else but homosexuality. Interesting. But Atlanta is probably not the place for you. uh, so basically, while Pops is trying to uh, pray out the demons out of Quinn, Quinn is trying to pray that he would actually love him and accept him for him. Um, and basically, Quinn, you are confused ever since you linked up with Sanchez. Doubt it. And then Quinn was like, well, what does the Bible say about adultery? We find out the pastor been having a lot of mistresses. And we're going to get into that in the next few episodes. So stay tuned for that. While you try to talk about me and what I got going on. You got other stuff going on. My mom took up a lot for you. And it's not cool for what you did to her. So at this point, pastor ended up raising the stakes. And he said, well, she would be disappointed in you and how you're leading your life. And he said, not so. She was very proud of me. She already knew what I had going on. And she already said that nothing would stop her from loving me. And he said that I wish to God that she was still here. And it was you that was gone instead of her. So at this point, the bottom line is either you do what I say, or you got to get out of my house and you got to get out of my church. Because you know what I mean, will serve in my church. So those are your two choices. Take out Amira or leave. And then he calls him a ninja. I said, well, so he went from being your son to now being a ninja, Pops, pastor? I'm just really taken aback by that. All right. So Chez, he's writing right now. And he's having problems really concentrating at this point. He ends up going downstairs and he's hollering, thinking Deja's down there, basically saying, I know you're not smoking without me, and it's really Obi who's smoking. Obi invites him to smoke a little bit, and then with his, I'm going to say it this way, but don't mean it any type of bad way, he's kind of got this nervous crush on Obi, so he ends up trying to smoke this blunt, and it didn't go too well. So Obi teaches him how to do it. He ends up doing it, and you can tell he's high and goofy at this moment. Obi wants to drink and says, do you want one too? And he says, yes. So at this point, he's quite loopy, Chez is. And then all of a sudden, Obi comes back. And all of a sudden, things change. He's taking off his shirt because he's hot. And basically invites Obi to start doing stuff with him in a man-to-man way. So they start kissing. Chez gets on top of him. And the next thing you know, boom, Obi comes into the room. It was a hallucination by Chez. I said, are they really getting down like this on the first episode? And he said, Ninja, what are you doing? He was trying to explain himself, whatever. He didn't have much explanation, but it got very awkward at this point. And Obi said, well, you can't smoke with me no more if you're like this. Next thing you know, Deja comes to the door. She apologizes. She had not been in communication with Obi all day. And they just start smoking a blunt. Obi's over there looking awkward. And she's like, what's been going on here? And then she's like, nothing, Chez is. And then we get a knock at the door. And we find out that it's Quinn. Quinn is distraught, in tears, and says, can he crash here for a couple of days? And Chez hugs him. And he's looking at the others like, I don't know what's going on. You know? It's quite a sad situation as to what Quinn is going through. And if I wasn't doing this review, I would be in tears with them because I was already in tears because I understand exactly who Quinn is and what's going on with his life right now. But that's all that there was in this first episode. How did you like it so far? I'm loving this series. I'm grateful that it is coming to life. I relate and resonate to a lot of it. Thank you, Mr. Greer, and to Mr. Johnny Sizemore. Also, if for no other reason you don't want to watch, if you want to watch the show, listen to the theme song. It was written, produced, and sung by Mr. Devin Scott. Now, the theme song on Complicated is different from how it is on Complicated Atlanta, but still has the same theme. There's a drum beat there, like for HBCUs, band drum people, but I'm really enjoying it. Let me know what you think of it thus far. Hopefully, I have have convinced you and interest you to give this show a chance. As far as Complicated, the original series, you can watch the whole season 1 on Tubi. Yeah, that's all on Tubi. There's like 3 episodes on YouTube. That's where they started out at. But you can watch the whole series on Tubi. And don't frown your nose up about Tubi because of some of the experiences that you have seen. Too bad, I'm sad. There's a lot of great creators that are on Tubi. And it's all independent content creators. Some have better budgets than others. But if you had actually given to the crowd funds and the GoFundMes, then you probably wouldn't be laughing at some of the stuff that you see on Tubi. However, go check them out. And you can tell them that I sent you. How about that? I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content. And leave your comments below. Until the next one, peace.